Hi there, I'm John from CNCKing.com, and today we make custom MDF signage. Now right off the bat you'll probably say this looks pretty bad for signage, and it does. That's because there's a masking over the MDF. The reason for that is because the customer is the one that's going to do the paint filling if they want, and they're also going to paint the rest of the sign. So I'm just basically making the laser engraved CNC routed blank for them to work from. And that's why, again, you see all the smoke and resin. You don't sand masking, you just remove it when you're ready to do that. So before we go ahead, let me show you the two other ones here. So they're two-sided. It's for an outdoor sign, and it's roughly a 3/4 inch MDF. Now you might say MDF is a horrible material to use outside, and I totally agree. The one caveat to that is that if you paint it and seal it, it's totally fine. MDF only doubles in size and halves in value when it gets wet or it gets humid. But if you seal it from the elements, you're totally fine with this material. So the first step in making this is actually to create the blank, which is what the machine behind me here did. So it's a CNC router, and it just routers out all the shapes I wanted. In this case, it's an oval and a rectangle, but if you wanted this in the shape of a penguin or whatever, we could do that just as easily. Now making a double-sided sign like this here is really straightforward. It's a rectangle. So when I put in the laser, I just have this as my 0, 0, and I line it up this way, and then I can just flip it around and do the other side. So this is easy. What it's a little bit more challenging though is something that's an oval, because you can be a little bit off this way or that way. And especially when you're doing two sides. Again, it's not a big production run, but if you're doing a large production run, ovals start to act sort of weird on you mentally. So the first step in fixing that issue is actually to make myself an oval jig with the laser. What this does is create precise positioning so that I don't have to think or calculate anything when I go into production for this specific oval. It was cut exactly to the same perimeter or diameter as this one here, so that's why it works perfectly for this application. So what are your design options when it comes to signage? My company can literally make it out of any material. So if you wanted this shape out of stainless steel, we can do that for you just as easily as MDF or live edge wood or plastic or lamicoid or what have you. The options are just never end when it comes to material. Now for the design options, since we're not going right through the material, again just double-sided, the options for the font can be anything. There's a million fonts out there and they all work perfectly for engraving. For cutting through the sign, well then you gotta worry about bridging material because like the inside of letters, you don't want them to fall out like an O or a P or a B. And when it comes to the sizing of the font, again, anything that fits on the sign is fine for us. Now when it comes to the imagery, so you can see here we have oak leaves along the bottom. You can have any kind of imagery you want as long as it's vector based. Now the reason for a vector is because it's nice and sharp and crisp when you zoom in on it. It's not as important when you're doing signage with the CNC router because you're limited by your bit diameter, but really when it comes to laser engraving, you really need really sharp imagery because the laser will carry on that jagged image if you try to blow it up and do a sign out of it. So when it comes to custom signage, any size, any shape, any material, we can do that for you and ship it right to your door. The general turnaround time for us is roughly 24 hours. Shipping generally takes FedEx 3 to 5 business days, depending. We also have next day if you really wanted to, but that costs a fortune. When it comes to material limitations, there aren't really anything to be too concerned about. We also work off sketches. So if you're not a design artist yourself or a designer to do all the imagery yourself, just send this to us and we could help you sort that out so that we have a quick sign for you and ready for use. Now for outdoor use, if you want to go the MDF route, again, put a couple of layers of resin and sealant and everything you can just to protect it from the environment, and then you're totally fine with it. Another option is to go with like cedar or some hardwood or softwood, and that lasts outside for quite a bit longer. Another option again is to go to steel, so stainless steel. I don't have any examples of stainless steel here right now that you can see in the frame. But stainless steel is great because we could fiber etch it, so there's no ink or nothing that will peel, crack, or fade over time. It's just etching right into the stainless steel, or we cut through it, and that lasts outside for decades and centuries. So again, looking for custom signage, any size, any shape, any material, contact me at CNCRI.com. We'll make it for you and ship it right to your door.